Hey y'all, it's Burgess Taylor, or Journey with Burgess, and it's Vlogmas Day 3. Happy Tuesday. Today's prompts are, for the Christmas Chronicles, be Christmas tree. For Create December, it would be family. So, what you're going to see me creating is a snowy background with a tree. You know, that one tree, if you would go out hunting for that tree that you were going to cut down yourself. That glorious Christmas tree. Well, where I live, we don't get snow hardly ever, especially on Christmas. That I can remember in my 52 years, I think we've had snow maybe 2, max 3 times on actual Christmas that I can actually remember. Somebody might correct me if they know where I live and I'm from here. But I live in South Carolina in what is called the Midlands. I'm originally from the Low Country, which I'm from Charleston. Most of the time, it's just kind of cool. Sometimes it might be, kind of chilly. Sometimes it might actually get cold. We have had a few snowmageddons, but most of those have been in January or February. But one of our family traditions is that we don't put the tree up until after Thanksgiving. So I drew what would be my perfect Christmas tree. Like if we had snow, it was going to be a snowy Christmas, and I could go out in the woods and go chop down my own Christmas tree. And, that was the image that I had in my head. And I'd already done this. And so that is my day 3 for the tree. So I'm actually on the day where I drew and watercolored that little tree with the star on it in my junk journal. I put day 3 and I put tree over there. I am going to be documenting peppermint pie that Victor and I shared yesterday. We both had a piece, and I'm going to be drawing that for today's for family, because that was what Victor and I did yesterday. But in this, you're going to see, this is what Dave and I had for Thanksgiving, was a sandwich. He had to work. My mother-in-law had to work. My mother-in-law did not have time to cook a big Thanksgiving dinner. She'd done that before, and it just wore her out. And the woman, other people should be cooking. I asked her what I could bring, and she was like, nothing. I still ended up bringing a dessert, but she was going to get a bucket of chicken and cook the sides to go with. Nobody had the chicken. KFC was closed. Bojangles was out of chicken. We have a couple of other places. But anyway, so we ended up having chicken sandwiches. And she felt bad, but we didn't. We were happy to be there. We were happy to be visiting his mom and dad. We got to see his sister and his niece. And we enjoyed visiting. But what I did do is this past Sunday, I created a whole little mini Thanksgiving dinner for me and David and his mom and dad. I made had a baked chicken, and I made green bean casserole and some candy yams and potato salad and some stuffing with gravy, and then we had the peppermint pie. Well, David likes his candy canes to be like candy canes and his pie to be like pie, so he wasn't really happy with the peppermint pie. So I ended up with half of it, so I took the other half over to my daughters yesterday, and Victor and I shared it. So I'm going to draw that. But Thanksgiving Day for us was all about being grateful for our families, being grateful for our loved ones, being grateful we got to eat sandwiches with his mom, and his mom made him this most delicious macaroni and cheese in her pressure cooker, and there were some delicious desserts and stuff like that. But I put this in here to remind me that you should be grateful for what you have, for the people that you have in your life. It's about the small things that really truly make the moments. And it's not about a big fancy meal. It's really about the people that you're sharing the meal with. And that was why I documented the sandwich. So then on Sunday, I had gotten us some Marco's pizza. And it was chicken Florentine with the garlic crust. And it was so delicious. White sauce, spinach, tomatoes, grilled chicken, Parmesan cheese. Oh, I had mushrooms put on it because David likes the mushrooms. And so I just took the tomatoes off of his and and I got his tomatoes and he got my mushrooms, so we were good to go. But documenting my day like this in my art journal I have missed. I've been doing little drawings and adding up and doing more writing. Well, I realized something when I was doing this. This journal needs to be more about the art, like that one big thing that stands out from that day. So Monday will be the peppermint pie in this book and in my little junk journal. And then today's will be about the iPad. Sundays, which I haven't done in here yet, will be, maybe I'll do the green bean casserole, because that's David's favorite thing, and I cooked that, and it was so good. It did turn out really good. I make my green bean casserole with mozzarella cheese because I'm allergic to cheddar cheese. It's something about the dye and that kind of yellow cheese, but I can eat white cheese. So that's pretty much going to sum up that part of it. What I'm going to talk about for a minute is the art journaling and the bullet journaling and how things are really starting to come together. Somebody asked in my live video yesterday evening about a craft journal, or what would be called a creative, you know, like your craft, where you document what you're doing from your craft, what you're creating. And I realized something as I was about to get everything ready so I can start filming my goal and intention video, where I set my goals and I show how I brain dump in my map. And yeah, so I realized that I'm not going to need the bullet journal the way that I'm using it now for next year, because I'm going to be doing my planning in the Hobonichi. I would use the Hobonichi as the craft journal, but if I start adding washi tape and bits of ephemera and pictures to that thing, because I got the regular Hobonichi cousin, that thing is going to get so chunky it's not going to be comfortable. My bullet journal is going to become more of a hybrid kind of journal. I'm going to be documenting my craft, what I'm doing, taking pictures of things that I do and putting them on the pages, doing swatches of whatever I use for that day. And on the page, I'll write down my affirmation for the day, my focus for the day, that kind of stuff in the actual, what people would call a bullet journal, but I'm just going to call it a journal because it's going to be my journal. I'll be writing as the day progresses. Whereas the Hobonichi will be more of my to-do list and some things. Anything that doesn't require me adding something onto the page. If I can draw in watercolor, do sketch notes on the Hobonichi pages, that's cool. But I'm not adding anything to the pages because I don't need it to be that chunky. I added a little bit of washi tape in the very front of it because the back of it's going to get super thick. So I thought maybe it would help even it out a little. But that's about it. On the monthly pages and the weekly pages, there'll be some washi tape. And that's it. Because if I add a whole bunch of stuff to the back, then it sort of defeats the purpose of having the one. I should have gotten the AVAC if that was the case. But in my hybrid journal, my journal, I can treat it sort of like a junk journal as I go. Instead of a pre-made one, I can add bits and pieces to it. Collage bits, pockets, anything I want to. I don't know that I necessarily need to have a junk journal after this. I've debated on it, thought about maybe making one for the season, each season, but I don't think so, not right now anyway. It might change, but I do think I'd like a junk journal for special occasions. So I'll do another junk journal next year for Christmas. Maybe I'll do a junk journal for a travel journal or for vacation journal, you know, that kind of thing. I might do a junk journal for the kids. Once I pick up a few, I can go to the thrift store, find quite a few kids books, use some of the paper from those, and you know, that way it's more towards kids. I don't know that I'm actually going to create a journal for each kid necessarily. I'm going to start writing letters to them and putting them in envelopes and then putting those in my journals. So that they have them, you know, this is what's going on, like whenever something really happens and I want to talk to them about it, because they're not really big enough for me to do some of those kinds of conversations with them right now. But I thought that would be a really good idea to do in my journals, and maybe I need to make junk journals for the kids, and that way I can add the letters to the pockets. So that's, yeah, maybe that's the idea. I don't know if I want a separate one for each one. What if I have other grandkids later on down the road, you know? Then that grandchild wouldn't have one, you know? So I don't know. Maybe I'll just make it for them. And then I could write letters to any future grandkids maybe. So that's where I'm at. I'm thank you so much for being here. I'll see you again tomorrow. And the next video that I do will probably be my goal and intentions video. It's going to be part 1 of it because this is a process and it's not going to be done overnight. Thank you, and you have a great one. I'll see you again.